the PowerPoint with those of you still here. So, okay, so week 2. So, I apologize for being late. Makeup lab at the dairy ran a little long. So I did not figure out what I'm doing wrong on Brightspace. So how everybody got their assignment done, right? So you just don't know where to put it, right? So get out your laptop right now, email it to me.
I have a physical copy right here.
Yeah, that'll work fine. So.
Come on.
Everybody's seen the movie Jaws, right? So that's the email address I want you to put in the subject heading, your subject line, AGNR 200, week 1. So put it up there. I will try to figure out what I'm doing. I talked to Professor Hayes. I appear not to be checking a box because I can see the assignment, but evidently none of you can. So I must not be checking a box that says make it available to students. So if you can get that done right now, they'll all come in at the same time. It's easier for me to find. Who's got physical copies? Got your name, MID on it?
I put it up for you guys.
Okay. Names on it?
Yeah, my name's on it.
Okay. So this will evolve this list as we go forward. Just get it up there. I apologize for that. Brightspace is not as intuitive as some people make it out to be, especially when we had another organizational system last year. So while you're doing that, what'd you think of this assignment? Like it, not like it? Waste of time?
I'm never really good at writing about myself.
Okay, fair enough. I'll agree. I'm not good at talking about myself. I'm better at writing. Any other thoughts or comments about this assignment?
Maybe good practice of later in the course, I suppose.
Well, we're figuring out who we are, what job we want to apply to, and then how do we apply to that job through resume, cover letter, interview to get that job. So let's focus on, there are certainly certain jobs I had no thought that I'd ever get. There are jobs I've showed up to, flown in to meet with the boss. 9 o'clock in the morning, meet with the boss, or no, I meet with a few people at 10 o'clock. Flew in the night before. The guy picked me up at the airport, who was like second in command or something, goes, "Where do you want to eat?" I said, "I'd like to see something good and local. Give me a feel for the town, give me something, you know." But we went to Applebee's. Okay, we're not communicating here. So by the time I got to my 10 o'clock interview with the big honcho, he said, "I'm not gonna hire you." I said, "Well, what are we gonna do for the next day and a half?" So it became a learning experience. I learned about the place, and there was no pressure because neither of us were gonna make a job offer, so things like that happened. I know of another person who said, came off the plane, he goes, "This is what I need for the job." Person picking him up at the airport. He goes, "Well, you're not gonna get that." "Okay, we'll see you. Bye." So things like that happen. So did anybody come up with something they were surprised by? Just asking for a yes or a no. Any surprises or things that maybe hadn't occurred to you before? Maybe. So taking the time to think about these things, you'll be surprised. Every once in a while, 95% of it is, yeah, I know that already, but that's 5% is interesting as we move forward. So did anybody dare to ask anybody else what they would have to say about you? Was that surprising to you? Okay. Oh yeah, we got some yeses, we got some nos. Okay. So let's keep moving. We're going to talk about different ways that you might be able to get like a third person view of things. And one of those things is a personality test. Has anybody ever taken those before? Which ones have you taken?
Oh, gosh.
Is it the colors one? Is it the otter, dog, lion?
Neither of those.
Okay.
It's like on the tip of my tongue.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Well, maybe if we do it, let me know.
Yeah.
There are lots of them out there. There's certainly the Facebook ones. Which person are you on, whatever show it is, and they'll put you into that category. There are others like what is it, the Myers-Briggs that I took at grad school. It cost several $1,000s. Grad school was willing to pay for it, so it's like a 3-day test. They go through all this stuff with you and say who you are, and they put you into 16 different categories, and they say that category never changes, and it's like, well, I've taken it online before and I've got different answers than this. So they say it doesn't change, but they're selling the product as well. So let's take a look at some of these that are out there. So the purpose is to understand yourself. You're different than who you were in high school. You're going to be somebody who you are now, and you're probably going to be shades different going in the future. I took the second years. How does it feel to be 1 year thinking about how you felt a year back? They're like, yeah, this is way different coming in the second year. So things have changed. You've learned things. You've added things to your knowledge base. So what we're trying to do is understand ourselves. For this class, we're trying to figure out what we want to be, what we're good at, who will pay us to do what we like to do. What have you got to do that job, and what do you still need? What tools do I have to have in my toolbox to be good at that job? And can I get those moving forward? So, one way to do that is using an expressive and assertive scale. Are we more expressive? Some people call that outgoing. Or are we more reserved, less expressive? Are we more assertive or less assertive? So we've got a diagram there, an XY axis. We're going to run that test real quick. Find it. So this is one of many tests. This certainly tests categories that put people into that are very similar to what else might be there. Okay, email, we'll just keep it at.
Okay.
Okay, you have two sides to these papers. One for expressive, one for assertive. Doesn't matter which one you do first. You want to go down the two columns, and you have pairs, letters match left and right. Pick the one that best describes you in the pair. So if I say I want this personal and friendly versus impersonal and business-like, I'll pick one of those two, put an X there. Do that with every pair. Pick one on each pair. You're going to have at least one, not more than one, on each pair. Do that on both sides, and then total up your checks you have in each column. I will not ask to look at these, so they're for you and you alone. We've got extras if you make a mistake and want to start over.
Sounded like it hurt.
Everybody got 4 totals? Right. So there's an odd number of pairs there, so you should have 2 numbers that are different from each other. You should not have the same number in each column at the end. Good thing they have the heat on this thing. Okay, everybody got some totals. So we're gonna start at 0. Let's deal with the assertive scale first. Are you more assertive? The total for more assertive is higher than less assertive? Or are you more assertive, less assertive? So you're gonna move whichever way is greater, more or less. Then from this line, you're gonna move more expressive if that total is higher, less expressive if that total is higher. So you should be in one of these 4 categories here. Everybody got their quadrant. Okay, so if you end up in a quadrant, these are the personality styles, behavioral styles that you're in. If your less assertive is greater and your more expressive is greater, you're going to end up as a supporter. You're a people person. Your goal is to be amiable. If you're more expressive and more assertive, you're an influencer. You're an idea person. Your goal is to be stimulating. You get bored easy. If we're less assertive and less expressive, we're an analyzer, person that deals in the facts. This is what I'm interested in. This is what I am, facts person. Their goal is to be accurate. If you're more assertive and less expressive, you're a director. You're a results person. Your goal is to be efficient. Now, when you look at these, we're dividing the world into 4 categories. Is that really possible? No, not really. But it gives you another piece of the puzzle. Did everybody end up where they thought they might? Yes, no, right? So there's some of you that, okay, that's kind of a surprise. Another thing too is depending on what the difference is, what is there, 13 total different? There's more than that, M14, 17. So if you had all 17 in one category and 0, we know you're that way. But if it's 9 and 8, Maybe if you come back tomorrow, those two might be switched. So depending on where it is. Our real concern is if we're 17-0 and we're way up in that corner, way down in this corner. As we move toward the middle, we're more typical and it changes from day to day. So has everybody got their category? So I handed out you a list there that shows these slides. If you're a boss, I had to take a personality profile for one job I interviewed for. They wanted to know where I fit in the organization. That's pressure. It's like, okay, which of these answers is not going to make me look like a psycho? So you're putting it there, but if you're a person who has a supporter as one of your charges, one of the people you supervise, this is how you treat them. So a supporter, take a personal interest. How's your day? How you going? How's the family? There was a farm a couple of years back when the students came here. The whole workforce, Hispanic workforce, was going to quit. And the reason they cited is that the owner did not ask us about our day. They were looking for some support, some interest, some personal things there. Anybody want to guess what the owner did?
They're gonna ask them about their day.
I would have. But they decided not to. Lock the doors, cut off their cable, they're out of here. So you need to know what kind of person you are. And do you hire all the same type of people?
Diverse.
Maybe, maybe not. If you want to manage the same way and rule with an iron fist, then getting all the same types of employees who react the same way is probably in your best interest. Can we do that in agriculture? Probably not. We don't have enough people applying for the position. This is not Alabama football. Does anybody know anything about Alabama football?
I really like
Really like their,
football.
they real religion down there, right? Coach Saban is God. But he's got a job description for every one of his positions on the field, and he knows what he wants for a personality type in each of those positions. The reason that works is he's got 20 people applying for every position on the field. He can pick and choose. It'd be nice to have a diversity. If I want to be a creative business, I want to move things forward. But if I'm just making widgets day after day, maybe I don't have to be that creative. But knowing what people are and taking a personal interest. This is one I usually fail on, speaking softly. So in class, I tend to project. I'm used to dealing over in Crawford. When I get in class mode, I think I'm still in Crawford Hall, which has got 200 seats in it. This room is not that big and I probably don't need to talk that loud, but it's a habit. So speaking softly, trying to take an interest. You're not rushing straight to business. You're not taking them for granted. You're not saying please and thank you to that person to get the best out of them. A director. They're the opposite in the sense that they want to get right down to business. What are we dealing with family? I don't care about your family. Come on, let's go. Let's get something done. You're not trying to develop a rapport or relationship. So you're looking at things that are more direct, that are going to motivate that director in some way, shape, or form. So the analyzer, again, very business-like. They're interested in facts. They want you to be logical, factual. Don't care so much about the family. Want specifics. They don't want you to be broad and casual. Making sudden changes is a bad idea. Especially if you're way down in that analyzer category. We're down in that OCD region, right? We don't change things. We don't change. This is the way it is. We don't change things. Any of these personality types to take it to the extreme, okay, you can see could cause problems. So the influencer, allow that time for socializing. Take time to ask their opinions. They're not a straight to business group. Don't rush there. Don't try to dominate the conversation or stifle their imagination. Let them run. If you can, within your business. So there's a whole list there. You can work through those and see what works and what doesn't work, given your, well, I agree with that, but I don't agree with that, even though I'm in this category. So there is a farm that credits a test like this for saving the family business. They went through and all the siblings took it, and finally brother one and brother two realized that they were very different. And maybe they should acknowledge that and embrace that instead of each brother trying, why can't you be more like me? Does anybody have siblings that they're completely different from? It's my friend Cheryl says, you three are the most, I have two little brothers, not little, they're both taller than me, but I can still beat them up. They are, I don't know of any three brothers that are more different. But acknowledging those differences allowed them to work together. Why don't you do this and I'll do that? Instead of butting heads, why can't you be like this? It's just not who we are. Trying to put a square peg in a round hole only works well in the movies. There are lots of other tests out there. We can put you into an animal category. You could be a lion or an otter or a Labrador or a beaver. So instead of the influencer, supporter, analyzer, and director, we're there. We also, and it goes through the same sorts of tests. You could be a color. The reason for the color system is we want to take away the baggage that's associated with the words we were using previously. When you think of a beaver, what happens? Maybe not as cool as a Labrador. You have biases, right, associated with the different animals. Well, beavers work hard. Labradors are fun. Otters, huge fangs, rip their face off, right? I have biases associated. With colors, we're taking those biases out. With any of these personality types, you can be a leader. You just got to understand who you are and play to your strengths, minimize your weaknesses. Does anybody know anything about the birthing center?
A little too much.
Little too much, right? The person who runs the birthing center went to through a program called Lead New York. Do any of you know what that is?
Leave New York?
Lead New York. LEAD. It's a continuing education program? Yeah.
It like teaches leadership skills on like an individual basis.
No, in a group setting, which is where the strength comes from. You're 35-ish when you apply to this program. So you've been out in the real world for a while. You know what's what, but you want to be able to take that next step up in the last 3 decades of your career. So the person who runs the birthing center, NIAC, North New York Animal Agricultural Coalition, she came up as an otter in that program. Probably shouldn't say that out loud, but she did. And she's like, how could I be a leader if I'm an otter? Look what she's done. But she figured out what she can do with that, and that's part of the Lead New York program. Here's who I am. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What do I need to get help with or complement? Be that diverse workforce. Who do I need to hire to complement me? So she made the birthing center. That's probably because she's an otter. Let's have some fun, right? You can lead with any of these. You get into, as I mentioned, the Briggs personality summary. There's 16 different, not just 4 categories, but 16. And they rate you on how you think, how you feel, where you make decisions, and whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. The odd thing about it when I took the test is I was pretty much straight down the middle. You can go plus 30 or minus 30 in all the categories. I was single digits on all of them, mostly below 5. So it depends on the day as to which category I'm in, which makes sense most of the time. There's a dichotomy about me that's kind of weird. But these links will be hot links. We'll get them posted after class if you want to go through and work through all these and find out whether you're an otter or whether you're blue or green or whatever it is, you can do that. So with your personality style, knowing a little, one more piece about you, given those lists of do's and don'ts, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? Where do you need to work on going forward? What do you need to minimize? What do you need to accentuate? So this is a list we had last week. You continue to learn about yourself as time goes by. So I want to talk about mission statements for the rest of the class. So what we're trying to do with this information we've collected is to make your personal mission statement. This will evolve as time. I'm going through mine again. Mine's kind of fallen apart in the last couple of years. I'm getting old. It's time to rethink it. Different situations I'm in. What am I going to be my priorities moving forward? What could we do? So what should a mission statement be? It's a personal statement that provides clarity and gives you a sense of purpose. Reminds you, these are the things I said were important. These are the things I should focus on. These are the things I should prioritize as I move forward. It also lets people know around you what's important to you and maybe how you want to live. So what are the values of a mission statement? It stops and makes you think deeply about your life. If you had to put in 2 or 3 sentences what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, most of you would have a little bit of thought related to that, right? Many people could think they could do those 2 sentences right now. Maybe not. So it forces us to clarify the real purpose in life. One of the sad things about life is there are only 24 hours in a day. And I can't stretch that. I can't move that. There's only so many things I can do. What should be my priorities? What should be the most important things that I do? So we can help communicate. So value allows us to think about and identify what's really important to us and try to act accordingly. Let you examine your values. Maybe you becomes your mantra, something you check in on a daily basis. I got to remember to be that person today until it becomes rote or habit. Keeps the vision in front of you. A lot of businesses will post these. So when people walk in the door, they know what's going on at this business. What's important to them, where their priorities are, what they think the future should be. So here's Walmart's. Has anybody ever seen this before? Kind of a little Walmart's mission statement, vision, goals, and purpose. Mission statement to help people save money so they can live better. Goal to become an international brand. They want to be known the world over. You think they're there yet? Probably getting close, right? I don't think they're international, but they're probably working on it. Vision. If we work together, we'll lower the cost of living for everybody and give the world an opportunity to see what it's like to save and have a better life. Now, you can agree or disagree with Walmart's corporate policies, but that's what they're pushing out to the public. That's what they want the public to see. Their advertising slogan, save money, live better. Anybody think that would be their personal mission statement? No, probably not, right? Google. Our mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Anybody see Google doing that? Sometimes, certainly on the advertising side, they're making it useful to them, right? They're pushing out those ads to you there, but that's their public statement. Dairy Farmers of America. They have a whole web page devoted to this stuff.
their passion. Farming isn't easy. And certainly not for those who enjoy regularly sleeping in. So they have a mission statement: deliver value to our family farm owners as a leading global dairy cooperative. So over the years, mission statements have shrunk down. 1 or 2 sentences is what people are usually looking for. Farm Bureau. Next up. These are the people that are helping the Farm Bill come together. Hopefully they'll get that done this fall. Building a sustainable future for our families and yours. So, and then how they do those various things, who they collaborate with. So USDA, I'm not going to bounce out to that one. That'll be there if you want to. Personal statements, mission statements of famous people. Has anybody seen these before? We're asking you to write something similar for one person. Maya Angelou. Does anybody know who she is? Yes, she is. Thank you for reading. My mission in life is not to merely survive, but to thrive. And to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. Phrases that probably fit a poet, right? Somebody that's good with words. Oprah Winfrey. She considers herself a teacher. I would not have guessed that. But she is in a lot of ways. People will live and die on what she has to say. To be a teacher and be known for inspiring my students to be more than they thought they could. Richard Branson. Anybody know who he is?
The British billionaire and entrepreneur of business.
Thank you for playing. He owns Virgin Airlines. I forget the record company he owned as well, but he made a whole lot of money to have fun on my journey through life and learn from my mistakes.
Sounds fun.
He is very interesting to watch. I don't know if he's fun. Most of these billionaires are not nice people.
I was gonna say.
That sounds like an AI generated mission statement.
Yeah, or original either.
Well, this is before AI, but that's what he came up with. So Mahatma Gandhi, Indian lawyer, anti-colonial nationalist. What does that mean? British get out of India. Political ethicist. I shall fear no one on earth. I shall fear only God. I shall not bear ill will toward anyone. I shall not submit to injustice from anyone. I shall conquer untruth by truth. I will, in resisting untruth, I shall put up with all suffering. So what kind of personality type do you think she is?
Say she.
Yeah.
Gandhi.
Gandhi's.
Gandhi's.
I think this is his daughter.
Oh, yeah.
So, Gandhi, the one we all think about, yes, was a man, but I think this is his daughter. I'd put her in the director category. Probably the beaver, right? Or lion, as the case may be. Very direct. Ralph Waldo Emerson. American essayist, lecturer, philosophist, abolitionist, and poet. Not really a mission statement, but a lot of people will go back to this as a way of living life. I certainly like parts of it. to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics, to endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate the beauty and to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better by whether a healthy child, garden patch, or I think that's championing a redeeming social condition. Or redeemed social condition. To know that even one life has breathed easier because you have lived, that is to have succeeded. Well, that's one perspective. Amanda Sternberg, use my gifts of intelligent charisma and serial optimism to cultivate self-worth and net worth of women around the world.
They have gifts of intelligence, charisma, and serial optimism. Don't have gifts of intelligence, charisma, or serial optimism.
Some people, yeah. Usually smart people don't have to declare it. People just know. Denise Morrison, President, CEO of Campbell Soup Company. I will serve as a leader, live a balanced life, apply ethical principles to make a significant difference. Elon Musk. Everybody knows Elon, right? If something is important enough, you should try, even if the probable outcome is failure. Reference Twitter. But he's trying. He also got caught in a legal thing where he said he'd buy it and he couldn't do breach of contract. So Walt Disney. Make people happy. Pretty straightforward, right? So we're talking about mission statements. They can be simple. Work hard and be nice to people. Maybe that's all you want to say. But they can be extensive. Wooden on leadership. Has anybody seen this before? Anybody like the show Ted Lasso? Nobody here seen it?
My mother loves it and she's trying to convince me to watch it, but it seems.
It's a very good show. I was surprised. I didn't think the premise is ridiculous, but they went in a completely different direction than I thought it would. But this is up on the main character's wall. Wooden on leadership. So does anybody know who John Wooden was? He was a coach of at UCLA basketball, the University of Southern California, Los Angeles. And they won, I think, 8 national championships in a row. So when you do something like that, people start to ask me, well, how'd you do it? So this is how he did it. So he's got everything in his philosophy all on this page here. So it's very extensive. And here's the base he builds off of with his team. And we end up with cooperative greatness or competitive greatness at the end. That's how he feels he got to where he was and got his teams to where they were to be. You can take the time to read that later, but that's pretty extensive. The funny thing about Ted Lasso, it's up on the wall. You can see in the corner. They refer to it kind of offhandedly now and again, or characters are just staring at it, but they never talk about it. Actually, the show is a lot about what's on that pyramid. So it can be different. So there's a guy named Robert Fulghum. He put together, you may have heard of it before. This is the full text of that, but we get into his philosophy. He says, I try to do it every year, write my philosophy. And this year I went really simple. I got back to basics. Everything I really needed to know about how to live and what to do and how to be, I learned in kindergarten. Anybody seen this before? Wisdom is not from the top of the graduate school mountain, but there in the sand pile in Sunday school. These are the things I learned. Share everything. Play fair. Don't hit people. Put things back where you found them. Clean up your own mess. Don't take things that aren't yours. Say you're sorry when you hurt someone. Wash your hands before you eat. Flush. Warm cookies and cold milk are good for you. Live a balanced life. Learn some, think some, draw and paint, sing and dance and play and work every day some. Take a nap every afternoon. The mission statements and CEOs mentioned that. When you go out into the world, watch for traffic, hold hands and stick together. So wonder, remember that the seed in the styrofoam cup, the roots go down, the plant goes up, and nobody knows how or why, but we are all like that. Goldfish, hamsters, and white mice, and even little seeds in a styrofoam cup, they all die. So do we. Remember that Dick and Jane books, and the first word they learned, the biggest word of all, look. Everything we need to know is in there somewhere. The golden rule, love, basic sanitation, ecology, politics, living. So that's a different way to look at that. So according to the experts, NASA has a good mission statement. To explore the universe, search for life, to inspire the next generation of explorers. They feel that Walt Disney's is too vague and unclear. How are you going to get that done? Well, they do lots of different ways. And they're make people happy, not the least of all themselves with all the money they make. So how do you do a mission statement? There's no right or wrong way to do it. Start by identifying an influential person in your life. Determine the qualities of theirs that you admire. Think about the qualities you need to work on in order to achieve that future desire. So how do you make a mission statement? Determine what you want to become. So hopefully in your examination itself last week, you start to get a feel for that. What do you want to become? Doesn't have to be president of the United States. It could be something simple. I want to be the best fisherman that ever lived. Determine your life roles. Describe how would you like to be described in each of these roles? You want to be an influential educator, as half of those mission statements talked about. You want to be a dependable employee, passionate or caring wife or husband, thoughtful and reliable friend, a supportive mother or father. So continue on. Open includes a set of personal belief. It's an adventure. Everybody's seen the movie Up, right? Adventure is out there. You're willing to take a chance. So we need to work to discover our talents, our interests, and deepest desires in life. And the only way to do that is to take a look at things. Hopefully your mission statement will give you a sense of meaning and purpose. Hope it makes you stop and consider the roles you play in your life. I'm always going to be a kid to my parents. Even at my age, I'm still the kid. And that can be frustrating sometimes. I'm a brother, friend, partner. So set your goals, figure out what you want to do, figure out goals for the long term and short term. We need a goal associated with that. Ask your questions. We hope you considered those some previously. And what I want you to do for next week is work through all the 5 steps and take a crack at for next week, take a crack at your current mission statement. Given who you are, what you've seen so far, what I'll post up online. Take some time to think about your long and short-term goals, what you're gonna have moving forward. It could be, I'd like it to be personal, but you want to do professional, that's fine as well. Make it a little detailed. So we want a one sentence, 2 sentence mission statement, and then kind of the details underneath that. This is what I want to do, and this is sort of how I'm gonna do it. So you've seen some of those mission statements there. So it'd be the first of many drafts that you'll go through in your lifetime. What I want you to do before you leave, we got 5 minutes. Make sure you sign in. Who wants to be first? Pass that around. I think we're only missing one person, given the class roster. Any questions on what I want you to do for next week? Again, it could be any format you want. At some point, take a picture of it, write it down, make it a PowerPoint, however you want to do it. But I need you to have something that you can refer to and submit electronically as soon as I can figure out how to work white space between them.
Wait, so do you want us to individually?
I'm going to try if I can get bright space to work, so. Well, I don't care about the format, but ultimately, we probably want it in a digital format. So you take a picture of it, it's a Word document, it's a PowerPoint, it's a spreadsheet, it's a database, whatever you want. But at some point, we need something we can drop in the Dropbox.
Okay.
As soon as you get signed in. Yeah, we'll get back to you. We already got their IDs out, ready to go. Sign in. So I'm asking for your name and your MID number. So I can fill out the starfish the way I'm supposed to. You too. Thank you for your patience.
It's my pen. I think she meant it. Oh. I don't. Oh my God.
So thank you for laboring on Labor Day.
I just had class like the past 6 hours.
I've been in front of students 6 hours today as well, so Mondays are a long day.
Yes, I agree.
In your way, sir. Immediately. Yes.
Any update in terms of sale for concessions? Did you find that sheet from previous years?
Not specifically. I found something, but give me till, well, at least till tomorrow, maybe Thursday.
Okay.
Get it figured out.
All right. No
I had some ideas on what we want to do, and we might